Welcome back to the channel. The repair video I intended to have ready is not ready. That's not going to happen this week. I've been way too busy. But let's take this opportunity to share a video about how I care for my paint guns. We've had multiple requests for that. I've never gotten around to presenting this, so let's do that this week instead. And the scenario is we have one paint gun that's been on the van for way too long. It's in serious need of a cleaning. So we're going to tear it down, put it back together, and get that working. I have one Preval that I used and didn't rinse like a bonehead when I got done with it. So we need to get that working too. I have one Preval that's been kicked around for a long time because it's not worked, and we're going to try to figure out why. So we have 3 problem pieces of equipment that we need to put back into service. Let's do it. Okay, so whenever I'm finished spraying, first of all, I will dump all of the remaining paint and save my paint. There's never any need to throw any paint away. I will take a Downy towel and I will clean out the cup like this, and that gets most of the residue out. Like this. Then I will take some water and I will rinse the rest of this out here like this. The other thing I will do is I'll take my brass brush and I will clean here, because quite often, especially if you're using the hair dryer, this will dry around the needle. Of course it will anyway a little bit. You get some buildup. I like to clean that and keep that fresh. I'm going to wipe out the residue one more time. Okay, so that's most of my residue out. Then I'm going to take some ammonia and I'm going to pour in here just a thimbleful. Spray this out. So you've got the ammonia in there. It's run all the way through, but it's also going to remain in there. For the simple reason that you will have still residue in here after you've rinsed your gun, and that ammonia will keep that residue from hardening. Any of those pigment particles will solidify in here, even if you have like say a degreaser in here or water in here. You would think that it wouldn't get hard, but it will. The deposits of the pigment will coagulate, settle in the gun, and actually get hard even though there's water in there. And so what I have found best is to use the ammonia, and that keeps everything soft no matter how long you've left that in there. And so then when you get ready to use the gun again, I always spray it out like that, and I dump the ammonia out of here and rinse it once with water. Once I rinse it with water, I'm good to go to add my paint, strain my paint in there. So that is all the maintenance that I do after each job. Of course, over some time, you will get some buildup around here. You'll get some dirt on here. You'll want to clean this out thoroughly. And we're going to show how to go about taking care of that on a regular basis. And that's it. So if we're talking about cleaning guns, I do have paint guns in the shop for use in the shop, but also I have these all cleaned, and these are available to put on my vehicle at any moment. So this one, because it has an end on it, this one is going on the vehicle today. And I will put a dirty gun in some cleaner that replaces this one. So if you have various types of guns, you're going to need various wrenches and some brushes to clean with. This is my cup, and this has ammonia water in it. Right now, of course, as you can see, I have some paint brushes soaking. And so let's clean those up, get those out of that water, and we're going to use this ammonia water to clean our gun. So even though I clean these brushes after each job, the truth of the matter is sometimes it doesn't get them clean enough, and sometimes they get dirty sitting in my toolbox. If they get too dirty, too nasty, I'll just replace them, but you can get a couple uses out of them this way. There we go. These are ready to put back in the van. So this is the box I keep them in. And so I have various brushes in here ready to go. They can get dirty in here a little bit, but that's it works pretty good. Also, if you have some bigger brushes, get assortment of brushes, because some in the assortment will be a stiff bristle like this, and some will be soft. And these can be very handy for cleaning, for dusting in around tight areas, whether you end up painting with them or not. Just a good idea to have a variety of brushes. That goes in my paint mixing box. That is my stationary work area in my van. Okay. So I do want to add a little bit of ammonia to my leftover. By the way, when I get done cleaning each gun and I have solids in the bottom, I just pour off the good stuff, throw away the solids, and keep the ammonia water going. So I have a gun. This gun is out of the van. It is due for a cleaning. Just replace it with one of these. And of course, because we've rinsed it after using it in the van, we've rinsed it with water, and we've sprayed some of the same ammonia through here, and we have a little bit of ammonia residue. I should say, we have ammonia water left over in here to keep all the contents soft, so any pigment residue stays soft in the gun, in the cup and in the gun, any residue. I know you wouldn't think you'd have residue after having sprayed through a few times, but you will have residue no matter what you do, I think. So let's dump this out and disassemble this gun. Okay. We'll clean this out separately. you can, on these guns, now every gun is different models, but this one, this cap comes off. As you can see, there might be a little bit of residue on the inside. Also, there can be some dried spray here on these sides. We just dump that right in there and we're good to go. We get out one of our tools. And this was the specific one for this gun. So that cap there does plug up sometimes with some residue. We'll soak that as well. We'll take the needle out here. So that needle and spring, these are, sometimes the spring comes off, it's okay. This all gets paint all in the threads and everything. So let's give exposure to those threads. Let's just soak all of that stuff too. And I need one more tool. Okay, we have a nylon washer here. And you have holes there that distribute the air. We can soak that. And then we can look in here and see if we have any solids. And if there are any buildup of solids, and you can see in here as well, we'll take them out with a probe. And you can see here that there's nothing that's hard, because the ammonia keeps it soft, but there is some residue. There is nonetheless some residue in here. So what I'll do is I'll loosen it up like this, make sure we get all the residue loose, and then we'll go over and take this water and using this little tip, we'll put some pressure through there and rinse out that excess garbage. Okay, hopefully you can see in there. So it's pretty clean. So what we're going to do is just take this and we're going to set it here, and then we're going to soak that, and we're going to let that soak right there overnight. One thing also that deserves to be mentioned, if you want to pick out the residue that's in your gun, do not use your needle, because you'll mess up your needle and it won't seat properly when you go to spray. So we're going to just let all of this matter soak overnight. We have another gun that's going to be put back in service. We can also, now when that gets finished tomorrow, we will take our brush and do a final cleaning. We have another brush here that we can use to clean the outside of the gun. We'll wipe that clean. We'll clean up the cup and the cap. They're not too dirty. A lot of times with the cap, I will go around and trace all the threads and trace in here anything that's hard or scaly. You know, that'll come off like that. And we'll take care of that on our next trip. Okay, we are back the next day, and we've got some soaking accomplished. Look how this does here. Any residue on the gun, it just softens it right up. Now we can take this brush clean it up a little bit like this. I'm not a fanatic about the exterior of the gun. It's really the interior that's most important, but of course it's always nice to have clean equipment. That way you can pretend that you know what you're doing. That part right there may not have got into soaking real good. Now, this ammonia will make this gun really slimy. And so what I'm going to do is spray that off and spray it through here too. Make sure we got everything out. There shouldn't be really anything left in here at all. But the one thing I'll do just before I spray it, take this brush and twist that in there, and you can put it all the way down to where you can see it in here and give it a twist. And there you go, you got some dirt out already. So just when you think you got your gun already clean, the brush will do a whole lot more to it. So that brush is important. When you think that it looks clean, the brush will help you out so much more. So let me get some water and we'll spray this off and rinse it through. Okay. So the next time we grab that gun, we'll know that it's ready to go because it's clean on the outside. Something else we can do is we can clean it up here a little bit. What we'll do is we'll just let that soak while we're putting the rest of the gun together. And same here. Don't have to be too meticulous, but we'll just let that soak for a little bit while we go about the rest of it. So the needle we can just wipe clean. It's visibly clean. And let me get my light. Okay, so we wanted to look for is right here to make sure that hole is lined up. Actually, there's a little garbage in there. So that bit of garbage was in there. And there's a little more. And there's some more. And there's some more. So all that garbage would have been rather hard up in there had we not soaked this. Let me rinse that one time. Okay, that is much better. And we've got a hole lined up. Then this is the part we want next, and you can see how all that paint is now turned into gum. Now we've got nice clean threads. That'll be a little bit slimy too because of the ammonia. Got to just push against the spring pressure a little bit. We can lock it down. There, that's about where we would use it. We'll adjust it later when we get ready to use it. Okay, now we've got this. We've got those threads to make sure that they're clean. We've got these 3 holes to make sure that they're clean. This is where a stiff brush comes in handy. Get down in here, get down in here. What we need to do, you can take that same brush, it'll go right in there, and you can clean this out, and you will be surprised, again, at how much you get out of there. And we'll go spray that out. And I will double check here because we didn't get anything to come through. We're going to see if there's a little bit of garbage up in here, and we'll spray that out again. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so that's clean. We do need our washer. And we can see that's crudded up pretty badly. Again, stiff brush is good. We want all of these holes to be clean. They are. I'll do a quick rinse. Alright, so this is going to go in here like this. And then we're ready for our tip. Still a bit slippery. we go. And now this nozzle is dirty with slimy dirt, but look how easily it just wipes off. That is nice. Let's get that up in there and give that a cleaning. Okay, just to get where we might not have gotten before, make sure this is cleaned out here, and we'll give that a rinse. Okay, we're good to go. A thorough cleaning once in a while is so important because sometimes the gun will look clean and you think that it should be spraying, and there's something just keeping it from spraying properly. You'll hear a hissing sound, or it may not be spraying as wide a pattern as you'd like, and it looks good and you think, why isn't it spraying a wide enough pattern? Well, you just got to give it a thorough cleaning, and even those things that you might not otherwise see, they're going to come clean here at the very end. Okay, so we've got that done. Let's just tidy up our cap now that we've let that soak a little bit. This will clean right up. It's good to get these threads clean. So just a few minutes of soaking has really done wonders just to clean up the cup. We got something in here where you can break that loose. We can trace our threads if we need to. Okay, let's go rinse those out. Oh, wait a minute, one more thing. There we go. Let's rinse those out. We want to make sure that this hole is clean. That's our air hole. If that's not totally clean, then what we'll do is we'll build up a vacuum inside the cup as we spray paint out. And pretty soon the vacuum won't let any paint come out at all. So that's nice and clean. Now, one thing we can do just to test our gun, we'll put a little water in here and we'll spray it out. And when we spray it out, we can put our hand over the cup and push down, and our palm of our hand will cover the top of the gun cup like this and act as bellows. And there you go. This is the same thing I do if I put my hose away before I clean my gun. I'll just put the palm of my hand over the cup to make bellows. And that's it. So then this cup, or this gun, is up here for its next turn in rotation. And for a gun that didn't look like it was really too bad, dirty, we can see that it was dirty. We're going to leave this and let that settle out and clarify, and we'll strain that. We can use that for the next go round. I suppose we ought to take some time and discuss cleaning out a Preval sprayer. So let's do that. I've got a Preval here that may or may not have been cleaned. At the present, nothing's coming out here, and if I hold my finger over the button, nothing is coming out down here. So down here, residue plugs up. I throw that away. I strain my paint anyway, so I shouldn't have a problem. The button, I just replace. So if you want to have a stock of buttons, always keep buttons on hand, buttons and stems. Okay, you heard that? So now we got air through the bottom by holding the finger over the button. And we got spray out the top. Let's see if we have some spray here. And we do. And we have some color. We'll back flush it. So this Preval was not cleaned the last time we used it. We packed up in a hurry and we got some residue in there. If we had too much residue, we could just say, well, forget about the stem and let's just throw the stem away as well and start clean. Nothing wrong with that. But we're fully spraying here, and we finally cleaned our Preval like we should have at the very beginning. Okay. So we still have some residue. One thing we can do, put that barely in there in the clean ammonia and spray that ammonia through there. And this is what you should do. I rinsed it with water. Generally, I didn't this one, but when you're done, you rinse with water and then just rinse some ammonia through there. Now it's nice and clean. And we're ready to go next time. We shouldn't have any problems with that on the next go round. Okay? I have a couple more Prevals that are not working. Some of these, if they don't work after I've cleaned them, I set them aside. Put some more water in here. So we'll see what we need to do to clean them up. Here's one. Nothing. A little bit out here, but nothing through. Well, right away, let's just put a new tip on it, see what happens. Okay, so the tip is good, but there's nothing coming through here. All right. So, what can we do? I have some wire to keep up here with the rest of my cleaning stuff. This is just a fine wire, floral wire, but you could possibly use like a picture hanging wire. And you can just insert that here if you can. All right, so that's not looking too good. Well, let's go from the top. And I don't have my glasses. There we go. Okay, so we've gone to the top, from the top. Now, a lot of times what you'll find is when you put the wire through, you'll hit a shoulder here. There will be, where the parts are put together, there'll be a joint, and the wire will hit the joint, okay? And so sometimes you can twist this and get the wire to skip past that joint, and sometimes not. So here we're hitting what we're hitting here is probably the joint, probably not the plug. But it is possible that we could hit whatever's plugging that up. See, that went a little further, but let me show you how far that went. Right there. So this is how far our wire went that time. So this is plugged right at the end here. Let's see if we loosened anything at all. Nope. So now it's Preval soaking time. And we can put that right in there and leave that overnight and let that soak. Here's one more Preval. So that's open there. And it's open here, but not much. Let's see if we can spray some water. Okay, so we can spray water. So that is weak because that's almost out. Probably not much good for anything at this point. So we're going to let this soak in here. We have a good cap for it. That'll be loosened up tomorrow. Let that soak overnight. We can get a new piece of wire if we bent that one too much. And so that'll take care of that. We got one clean and ready to go, and one in the hopper. Now, I just wanted to show you, this is a Preval that I had cleaned previously. We have this wire going all the way through. So I was able to hit the shoulder and bump up over the shoulder and get that wire to go all the way through. So that's something you can get. Now, if you go all the way one way and hit the shoulder, and then go in the other way and go all the way to hit the shoulder, then you know you're clean. But it's just sometimes that shoulder that hits you instead of a clog in there. So this is still good. And in fact, we can put the good tip on there. and you can see that we're in good shape. This one is also almost totally used up. It's really weak. When they get used up that much, they're not really that handy. It's not going to give you enough atomization to get anything but maybe some texture. But they still can be good for testing out a color that you've mixed. If you don't want to put it in the gun yet, just see how it sprays out using a Preval. Get a visual on the spray. Sometimes the spray color is going to look different than the wipe-in color. And you can use a Preval for that, even if it doesn't atomize fully like you would want to, you know, if you were putting a nice even coating on. So these Prevals are good and ready to go. That one we'll have to visit tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Actually, it's today. It was yesterday's tomorrow, right? And with any success in soaking, wouldn't it be something if we could back flush this and it would open up on its own? But we're not that fortunate. Okay? So, let's see what we can do with a piece of wire. See if this has softened up at all. I don't know that it has. Okay, so we still don't have anything. So that could be two reasons. The obstruction could be from a solvent-based paint that our water-based ammonia mixture is not able to dissolve. And so we would have to get another cup of some solvent, like some acetone, and maybe dissolve it that way. So we could do that, or we could take a very small drill bit. The smallest here is a 1/16. And we could just try to clean this. Okay. So we can hear that. And let's see if we can run. Okay, so there. We need a stem. Let's take this stem. And here we go. So we're spraying good. Spraying kind of clean. There was a little bit of junk. Let's try that again. Okay, that's spraying pretty good. Let's back flush it. Okay. So we're in good shape. So that was about as obstinate a plug as you would find in a Preval. So we had the 3 Prevals that were not working put back into service. We'll use them until they're totally spent. So I know that Prevals can be problematic. So I think the answer is to always have some buttons and some stems in inventory. Change those out. Then with a wire you can easily see which end is plugged. It's usually the bottom end. And no matter how badly plugged it is, we can clean it out and continue to use them. So there won't be so much of a headache in the future as long as we're ready.